Welcome back to Fox 8. We are taking a closer look at last night's presidential election. Israel Balderas joins us. He is an assistant professor of journalism at the Elon School of Communications. The numbers are still coming in, but with Trump declared the victor, you look back at the election and the last few months. What was working clearly for Republicans in this case? What message kind of got through?
Well, I think the message that got through is Donald Trump saying to the working class people, to the working class average Joe, I hear you, I see you, I care about what you care about, which is the economy, which is immigration, which is law and order. I think that message resonated. If Harris's closing argument was, that guy is crazy, Trump said, yes, I am, but I'll get stuff done. And that won last night.
The things that they threw at him, you know, the garbage comment, he ends up driving a garbage truck in, the thing back and forth over McDonald's, and he works it seems like they took whatever they threw and turn it into a meme or something like that.
100%.
And that almost resonated more than the initial charge.
Last night, it was the revenge of the working class average Joe, right? Because what the average Joe said, look, you've ignored me for too long. You know, I'm not garbage. You know, we're not Nazis. We're not extremists. We just want to pay our bills. We want to send our kids to school. And Donald Trump spoke to them. And I think the wake-up call this morning for Democrats is you can't say, we're going to do what we want, shut up. That doesn't work.
You saw that if you look at the map, you saw that in the Southeast.
Yeah.
You saw it in the Rust Belt. You saw it in the flyover states. The midsection of America, where, as you said, a lot of people say maybe they haven't been listened to and spoken to in a long time, and that's where those votes really started to roll in.
100%. And for me, as a political scientist, what I really focus on is the Hispanic vote. The Hispanic vote. That is
a huge deal this time.
45% of Hispanics voted for Donald Trump, which is huge. And I know we're in North Carolina. I want to focus on local, but I want to point to one county in Texas. It's called Starr County. It's right along the border. They haven't voted for a Republican since 1850. It's 91% Latino in Starr County. And last night, Starr County went for Trump. And you could see that in Jersey. You can see that in Illinois. You can see that here in North Carolina. The vote among the Latino, according to exit polls, was split 50-50. And what that tells me is that the Latino vote says we're no different than anybody else. We care about the same issues. And what we want to do is we want to be able to take care of our familia. Familia is what made that Hispanic vote go for Trump.
And will only be a greater force in the years ahead. They absolutely have to be considered as a major voting bloc here. So what kind of fell flat for Democrats? We talked about the message that Trump had. What kind of fell flat? Number one, pick of Walz as vice president. Should she have gone in another direction there? Do you think that hurt him?
One of the biggest mistakes that you make, and one of the most important choices that a presidential candidate makes, is who do you pick for VP? Josh Shapiro, who is the governor of Pennsylvania, he didn't get picked. The conventional wisdom is that Harris didn't pick Josh Shapiro because he had a very strong policy in favor of Israel, right? So they were concerned that if they picked Josh Shapiro, you would lose Michigan voters, Arab Americans who support, you know, a Palestinian civil rights or Palestinian state. That didn't work. And so, look, you lost Michigan, you lost Pennsylvania, you lost Wisconsin, because I think what the Democrats need to do this morning is they need to look at what policies are too extreme and what policies work. Josh Shapiro is the poster boy for moderation in the Democratic Party.
There's a lot of, I guess, finger pointing and second guessing and things like that going around. How do we move forward, though? Does Trump need to start making concessions? Does this give him carte blanche to say I'm full steam ahead, or what?
President Barack Obama in 2008 and 2012 said elections matter. Elections have consequences. That's what Donald Trump is now saying, right? Elections have consequences. He has got a mandate, and not just a mandate, but a strong mandate. You don't win 7 battleground states and then somehow start making concessions. And he's got the Senate.
And Congress, yeah.
And Congress may be +2 Republicans, right? We're still waiting for some things. But if he has complete control of the White House and Capitol Hill, then it's his policies, right? He's going to do what he said he was going to do. And that means Does he reach out to the left? Does he reach the Democrats? A wise person would say yes to bring the country together, but we need to start having a conversation here in High Point, in where I'm in Alamance County. How do we bring together? Trump has a chance to bring the country together. Will he do it? It's going to depend on who he surrounds himself with.
Very true, very true. We appreciate your analysis, your insight. Thanks so much. Thank you. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, my friend. Appreciate it.